Are you ready? Can crush us. It don't really get no better than this. The podcast that you're looking for if you're really heavy into wrestling. Hosted by the Mark. Energy that's so amazing. Gotta keep it entertaining. Rep the Can Crusher Nation. Yeah, you know what's going down in the ring. Lights out when you hit a ding ding. Knock 'em out like boom bada bing. Hold it down, you can crown me the king. Got a shout out to the Miz and Duke the Dumpster. We choke slamming everybody. Power driving, hit 'em with a face buster. Yeah, this the show you need and it ain't no need for waiting. Mark, hold it down for the Can Crusher Nation. All about wrestling and keep it entertaining. Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. Time to break 'em, let's go. Yeah, Can Crushers. Yeah, Can Crushers. Let's go.
Hi everyone, this is Ringside Rain and you're listening to Can Crushers Podcast. And now, here is your host, Mark the Mark Martinez.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Can Crushers Wrestling Spotlight. As Ringside Rain said, I am your host, Mark the Mark Martinez. And this episode is going to be really cool. It really is. First and foremost, I've never spoken to my guests thus far. We tweeted a little bit or social media'd a little bit, you know, whatever I'm saying. Kind of a hardcore guy, so I want to dive into some of that. I don't want to ruin it, but he's got an amazing story. The things that he's overcome to become a professional wrestler. He has held the Hardcore Championship one time, and I know here in the near future he's going to be going for it again. It is the Indiana Werewolf, Dustin Wolf, and yeah, I'm super excited to talk to him and just learn how he got into professional wrestling and what makes him take into professional wrestling, and then why he kind of likes hardcore matches. So this is going to be fun. This is going to be a fun one, and let's just dive into it. But first, of course, you know what we have to do. We have to pay the bills here on Can Crushers. So let's start with that to get it out of the way. Guys, Collar and Elbow, you've heard me talk for years now. They've been by my side for as long as I can remember. They are amazing. That's why they're mentioned always number one. Hats, hoodies, tees, all the cool things that Al Snow and the Hooligans have over at Collar and Elbow. Go and buy them. From the Monday Night War shirts to Dusty shirts to anything. Again, you guys know if you've listened so long, I have my favorite, words are hard today, by the way, folks. My favorite Macho Man inspired shirt that's got Al Snow in head in the sunglasses, and it just looks so cool. And I've had it for years, and you would think it's hot off the presses, you know, just a brand new shirt. It doesn't wear, it doesn't tear, it's just unbelievable. So go and check out Collar and Elbow, and we want to save you some money with our promo code. It's Can Crushers. Capital C in Can, capital C in Crushers. It saves you 10%, so buy. Not in sync. Don't forget, in the show notes, we have our WWE affiliate code. You want the new Rock shirt, or a Roman Old shirt, or whatever, an LA Knight shirt, and you know you're going to buy them for a present yourself or whatever, click that link. Click that link, and we're very transparent. Sometimes you get a discount, sometimes you won't. I won't always tell you it. That link is just there. It transitions you over into the WWE shop, and it helps support us. And that's what we want to thank you for 100%. We want to thank you for listening all these years. We love you. Thank you very much. Don't forget, we have merch as well. Head over to CrowdMade, and then when you're at their website, type in Can Crushers. You can see our sweats, our tees, our hoodies, our tanks that are out there, and more merch to come here in the near future. I've gotten word on that now, so really excited for that. Help support us by, wearing some of our merch. It's really cool. Our logo, you guys love it. Go ahead. You guys know what I run off of. I run off of W. The Garbage Man, waking up early in the morning. Man, this stuff has been amazing. I've switched my flavor up, by the way, too. But it is amazing. It's the energy drink that doesn't cause any crashes. There's no calories. There's no carbonation. Comes in loads of different flavors. I have two of my favorite. Beach and Peach and Callow Cream. I just got my Callow Cream in the mail. Take 2 scoops in the morning in the shaker that they provide for you. Shake the shit out of it. Drink it, and you are good to go for the day. Listen, crazy life between family podcast work is third on the list. Baseball events that I do for local radio. It keeps me ticking from essentially 4 o'clock in the morning until late in the evening when I should already be in bed. So check out Dubby. And when you're going to go buy something from there, don't forget to use our promo code CanCrushers. Okay? It's that easy. It saves you 10%. There is a starter pack out there if you want to try a couple flavors out. Comes with a shaker. See if you like it. And, let me know. I really want to know if you guys have tried W over the months that we've been telling you about it. It's unbelievable. It really is. It's that energy drink that I really thought, the no carbonation, that has really been something that I've been really high on. I love it. I've kicked pop out of my life, essentially, and I just do this W in the morning, and then it's water, it's iced teas. Yeah, super. So try them out. Guys, you can listen to us. You can listen to us everywhere. We're on Spotify, we're on iTunes, we're on Google Play until it lasts, because Google Play is going away. iHeartRadio, just a ton of them. Don't forget Podurama. They have deals over there as well. It's an app. It's seamless. It goes from your iPhone to your Android, to your laptop, to your PC, to any other streaming thing. It's a really cool device, and that's the way that I listen to my podcast right now on Podurama. It's just really cool. It does everything I need. It can just zip all over the place. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter are the places you can get a hold of us. And don't forget, end of next month, June 22nd, is Ask Can Crushers. So make sure that you get your Ask Can Crushers question in. You can DM them to us. You can send them via email at cancrusher69@gmail.com. There's loads of ways. Just reach out to us. We'd love to answer your questions on the air on June 22nd. So, join the conversations on all our socials and just be a part of Can Crusher Nation. More than you already are. Never less. Stay the same. Whatever you want to do. We love you. Thank you for this crazy-ass ride that we have had over the years. And then keep continuing to listen. But don't forget, coming up right after this quick break, the Indiana Werewolf, Dustin Wolf.
What up, cuz? This is D.L. Hartley, the big boy for the big country, Mr. 325 from the 325, and you are listening to the Can Crushers podcast.
Welcome back, Can Crushers fans. You heard how excited I was to have my guest on this week, and he is inspirational. I went to his couple of profile pages, saw some of the links, and I'm like, nope, I don't need to dig in anymore. And then earlier today, he's like, man, you wait, I have a story, and I'm super excited to hear the story. So put your hands together through a spotlight video, podcast, whatever. You can tell I'm excited because I'm all over the place. For the Indiana Werewolf, Dustin Wolf. Dustin, how the hell are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, sir.
Awesome. You can say Mark. That's all right. Sir makes me feel like my dad or my grandfather. That's okay. So, the wrestling world. When did you fall in love with it? How did you fall in love with it? And who helped you discover it? Mom, Dad, Uncle Joe, Aunt Sally? How did we find this crazy sport?
It's funny you mention Uncle Joe, because I do have an Uncle Joe. But
yeah, I get it every once in a while.
Yeah, the match that made me get into pro wrestling was Undertaker versus Kane, WrestleMania 14, Boston, Massachusetts, when they went there. And I have been hooked ever since, and I think it's my family that got into pro wrestling. A little no funny story, sir, and I know you're going to like this, okay? I was a baby. I was a wee little lad. And sorry about the Scottish accent.
I love it. Keep it going. Can you do it the rest of the podcast?
Maybe here and there. But when I was a wee little lad, I went to an event. I went to a wrestling event. You know, it was around the 90s when Yokozuna, Smoking Guns, Goldust, and Bret Hart. Now, here's the cool part about Bret Hart. After Bret Hart's match, he was right there in front of me, and I slapped his hand.
Nice. Once you said Bret Hart, I thought you were going to tell me that you got his sunglasses. Remember when he used to put the pink sunglasses on the kids and everything? I was going to jump through the phone and steal those sunglasses from you if you still had them.
Well, you will be stepping into the lair of the wolf. So
And I don't know if I want to do that.
Nah, but little known fact, I slapped his hand, and I have fallen in love with wrestling ever since. I've gone to wrestling events growing up as a kid here and there, mostly some in Nashville, Tennessee. I lived in Clarksville, Tennessee, and in 2007, somewhere in September 2007, after the Unforgiven pay-per-view that they had in Memphis, I went to Monday Night Raw in Nashville, and the wrestlers there, good grief, they're a lot more bigger than they are on TV, I'll tell you that.
Yep, they are. They really are. I'm in Pennsylvania, as you know. One of my first ones was in Erie, Pennsylvania, which is hours away, but we made the trek up, and Andre was there when he was part of the Heenan family. And he's a legit giant, but he looked big on TV. But he was massive. And I'm like, oh my God. So yeah, I understand that story.
Yeah, also 2008, I went back to Nashville for a SmackDown taping, and I saw the Great Khali, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's more bigger in person than he is on TV.
Yeah, you're naming everybody that because I'm gonna get to meet the Great Khali this November at WrestleCade. He's one of the special guests, and I'm trying to work something out to do something with him. I'm super excited to see the massiveness of him. So you're naming my hit list, by the way, which is awesome.
Yes, but before we go any further, I have to explain this, okay? I am an indie pro wrestler who has Asperger's, it's a form of autism. And people are like, oh, you can't be a pro wrestler with autism? Yeah, ask Charlie Pierce, ask Brandon Wolf about wrestling with autism, and they're not letting that stop them, and neither am I.
Right, and as I didn't really stop doing some searching, I did a little digging and everything. How has I don't have it. I mean, I'm not being disrespectful. I'm not. How has that affected you, or you've grown up with it? Does it affect you? Essentially, you just want to wrestle, right?
Yeah, I've grown up with it. I've learned to get used to it. I've learned to live with it. And the sad part about having Asperger's is I don't have a driver's license. And my family normally drives me to events so I could go and wrestle. And I know it may sound embarrassing and stuff like that, but I don't care. Okay? I love riding with my family because it just makes me watch them have fun watching me wrestle.
You know that you have a support system there, too, which is amazing within itself.
Yeah, especially my nephews get to see me wrestle.
That's awesome. That's really cool. I want to stick and stay with this subject. We'll jump back around it, too, and knock all the questions out of the park that we normally do. But growing up then, how did, the Asperger's, which is a form of autism, as we said, how did that affect you getting into sports? Because normally I always say, tell me about your childhood and growing up in sports. Was it nothing in sports then, growing up as well?
Well, little known fact, okay, I said it again, little known fact. Little known fact, before I went to pro wrestling, I was in Special Olympics. I was doing ice skating, roller skating, sound familiar, basketball, bocce ball, bowling, and I got to go around Tennessee with all kinds of cities with my Special Olympics Tennessee friends. And I was in Special Olympics of Greater Clarksville, and I was in Special Olympics from 1999 to 2017. And I got to do all kinds of events, from track and field to ice skating, roller skating, bocce ball, bowling, and so I've had fun. I've won many medals, trophies, ribbons, and all that.
I was just gonna say, do you have a most memorable moment from one of those winning something?
back in 2015, I won 2 gold medals in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. A lovely little place I go to for ice skating, and I miss it to this day, especially in the mountains. But 2015 is when I went to do ice skating for Special Olympics, and I won 2 gold medals twice.
Nice. Congratulations. Is ice skating your, of the sports that you've just named there, is ice skating your favorite, your number one?
Yes, especially when I go there to see the mountains and I get on the tram. And at first, when I first made my debut in Special Olympics Tennessee in Gatlinburg, they go there to ice skating on the tram. And I'll admit, I was looking at that like, do I even get into this thing? Because we're going to be about 50, 40 feet up. And I have a fear of heights, okay? And the number one rule is said, don't look down while you're on the tram. Don't look down. That was my golden rule.
Yeah. How'd that work for you?
Great so far, but the way it goes up and down when it hits a certain tower, I have a fear of heights, and I'm not afraid to admit it. I have a fear of heights.
I do too. I'll tell you, because we went down to a family vacation. We went down to OVW, and then we kind of just walked around Louisville a little bit. And there is a bridge that you can cross from Louisville to, Gary, Indiana, and it's a walking bridge as well. Well, my family was like, yeah, let's do this. We got 3/4 of the way up, and I don't know, when I was younger, I would jump off a roof and not care about it, besides the injuries, but heights nowadays to me, not happening. I get shakes, I get sweats. My wife is like, come on, you're going to be okay. You'd need an elephant to drag me across, because I'll tell you, Dustin, I don't like heights anymore either. I don't. So I feel your pain.
Oh, speaking of OVW, you seen that special on Netflix, Wrestlers yet?
I love that. Yeah, the first day I took off work and binged the whole thing. I'm that guy.
Okay, right. Well, on Facebook, I'm friends with Amazing Maria, who is the mom of Hollywood Haley J. They were both on that show.
Yeah, they were. Amazing Maria, pseudo friend of Can Crushers, her and Haley J. Still trying to work something out to get them both on, so that's cool. Love both of them. So, all right, when was your aha moment then? You know, we've talked about Kane and Undertaker and Brett, and then we went down to Great Khali Road and everything. When was your moment that you're like, hey, I'm going to become a professional wrestler?
You're basically saying what I described 2 minutes ago. That was the match that made me get into pro wrestling. And I've been watching pro wrestling ever since. And how you say aha moment, Try to 2 Pro, where I went to and I first started my dream. I went to Try to 2 Academy, and they were starting a gym. They were starting an academy down in Woodlawn, Tennessee. I believe Bashley told you this. I was trained by Jeremiah Plunkett, who you've seen on NWA Power.
Yep.
And then I went to intermediate. I was trained by Tom Latimer, who you know as Bram from TNA, and now NWA Power, who he just won the NWA National Championship.
He did. I was so pumped about that.
Yeah, and I've been with Try to 2 Pro for 3 years now, from 2018 to 2020. I was trained by Tom Latimer, Jeremiah Plunkett, and I'll admit I was a little intimidated at first because I was going to be training with guys I don't know, guys who I've never met before but I can trust. And I struggled my first round in beginners, but the second time I got the hang of it. But the one move that I hate in training is the banderas. I hate it.
Why?
I'm sorry. Because you have to, you use your arm to help them over the rope, okay? Help them over the top rope, and I had struggled with that, but I got the hang of it. But that's my number one hated training move. But then I went into 2019. I trained with Tom, and I was like, "There's some things that I've never even done before that he knows." And he, like Bachelor mentioned, flavors of ice cream. And I was starting to learn like British wrestling, all kinds of wrestling moves I've never learned before in the first time. And then I was doing some practice matches with Tom Latimer in the intermediate class. And my personal favorite is me versus Mims. Big Strong Mims. We did a practice match, and that was one of my favorites.
Listen to the resume that you have of your trainers, people that you know that you've been in the ring with already. That's pretty awesome. Let's talk first day of training, though. You know, you make the decision to go, and you walk in. You're pumped up to go to training, but when you walk out, because I love this question, when you walk out, we were like, oh man, that's harder than I thought it was going to be from watching on TV. Were you still on a high that you were becoming a professional wrestler? Tell me that first day feeling, the good and the bad.
Oh, it's intimidating. I mean, like, you walk into the back of the gym, there's a wrestling ring right there, there's your coaches, and then there's some guys that are bigger than you, stronger than you. I'm a little bit intimidated and a little bit humbled because my first time we just did some like rolls and stuff like that, and then there's a guy who owns Try to Pro. His name is Anthony Mayweather, or you may know him as Crimson from Impact and NWA.
Yep.
He was the guy who owned it. He's the guy who brought me in, and I actually told him that I have autism. And he said, don't let it own you. Don't let it get in your way. And after I got out, I was like, I'm in for a wild ride. I'm in like, this is the start of my dream coming true. And I have been in pro wrestling for 6 years now. 2024 will be my 7th year in pro wrestling.
Sticking with training for a second, has there ever been a minute when you're getting into it your first year or so? Was there ever a minute that you're like, oh man, I can't, or this is getting too hard? I in my brain right now, I feel that you're ready to tackle the world, and you've never thought that. Am I correct?
Yes. There was times that I struggled learning the moves, and but by the end of the first round of beginner's class, I was like, I'm not stopping. I ain't stopping. I'm not leaving. And by the time I was in the second round of beginners, I started getting the hang of the moves and all that. I started to get better. I started improving. But yeah, my first round of beginners was a little bit intimidating.
Yeah, but you build up your confidence, and then you were ready to rock and roll, right?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. So let's talk first match then. You know, what's your feels on first match? Because as a ring announcer and, commentator, you come out of that curtain every time. And I don't know if I've said it on Bashley's or any of the ones that you've listened to, but I get so worked up. I'm full of anxiety. I have, all types of everything in my head that I don't know, maybe I shouldn't do this tonight. I don't know. My music hits and I rock and roll out of that curtain, and it's magical, Dustin, isn't it? It makes everything go away.
Yes, when my music played and I was in a battle royal, I immediately shot out of there like a cannon. I'm like, all right, let's get this on. Let's get it on. And it was my first match, and when you have your first match, it is intimidating. Like they always say, you never have another chance to make a first impression. And I shot out of that curtain like a cannon, and I was excited. I was like, I'm ready to do this. And I trusted the guys that was in that battle royal in. I was having so much fun. It was what we call student showcase. And the 22 Academy student showcase is what we had. And I was in all 5. But we started the first one, and I was having the greatest time of my life. That battle royal was fun. I was having fun. I'm like, I ain't stopping. I'm not. This is the first of my entire life in pro wrestling.
I say it every show. Once you get wrestling in your veins, it becomes a sickness, right? Which we can't get it out, and it's a good sickness to have, right?
Yes, sir.
Nice, nice. Why did you pick Tried and True? Locality, or because of everybody that you've named after you've done some research?
First of all, it was like 13, 20 minutes away from me. It was in Woodlawn, Tennessee at the O24 Health and Fitness Gym. I was thinking, I got to make my dream come true because around 2017, I basically did all I could do with Special Olympics. And I'm like, what do I do now? Stay at home and be a hermit for the rest of my life? Or do I start doing something that's soon going to make me feel like I'm living my dream? I did this. And I'm like, screw it. I'm going to sign up. So I did. And I've not looked back since.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so I've seen some clips, and I think, because you know the way the podcast rolls, I have 3 people that I want to compare you to, okay? Tell me how close I am, this, that, or whatever, and then I want to know who you really think you are. So my question is, who is the lone wolf? Who is Dustin Wolf? My 3. I see a touch of Stone Cold in you, because you can be that badass. You can, come out and just kick ass and take names. The other one I see because you love hardcore. So I instantly went to Sandman. So I'm like, all right, because, you're a hardcore champion, this, that, and the other. So I'm like, I went to Sandman because you have that, in wrestling terms, you have that little bit of craziness to you. And then, because I'm going to use this one, I do see some Plunkett in you. Because he is your trainer. After watching some of his matches, I see some of your matches. So those are the 3 that I will throw out there. How close am I?
Well, you're close. I'm kind of like the same, man, minus the beer and the smoking.
Okay.
But I swung a cane or 2. And Stone Cold, yes, because I could be cold as ice in that ring. But I could just show no emotion. And Plunkett, yes, because he was trained old school like he trained me old school. So, yeah, and a little pinch of Baron Corbin because I'm not going to say I'm stealing his old gimmick, more like inspired. Right. And little known fact about the Indiana Werewolf name, Stone Cold calls himself the Texas Rattlesnake.
Yep.
That's basically what I got the inspiration off of. And basically, I'm from Indiana, Bloomington, Indiana. And I was thinking, yeah, Indiana Werewolf. Also, I got the werewolf inspiration from my cousin because he had like a wolf dog-like hybrid dog at his dad's house. And I'm thinking, yeah, the Indiana Werewolf. So, yeah. Those are my inspirations right there for the name.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna confess to you. Once I saw the Indiana Werewolf, that's instantly where I came up with the Stone Cold. I'm like, oh, okay, Indiana Werewolf, Texas Rattlesnake. That's exactly where my mind went. So, yeah. All right, let's learn a little bit about Dustin. Kind of outside the ring. When you're not doing some wrestling stuff and you're just kind of nerding around or being a bum. What do you like to do when you have a day off that you're not training or, doing wrestling stuff?
Well, mostly I like to go to the gym and, watch a little bit of YouTube, listen to hardcore rock, metal, old school rap music, and help around the house and like a good son should. I mean, since I'm on...
Are you trying to butter up to somebody right now?
Maybe. But I like to help around the house and do my own chores, do my own laundry, clothes, dishes, whatever, cook my own food. And I like to do workouts here and there. I like to go to the gym here and there. I know people are not a fan of Planet Fitness, but I have no problems there at all. So I go there, do my workout, jam out some hard rock, metal, rap, whatever. And that's basically what I do. I do a little walks here and there with my dogs. And I hang out with my cat, Oliver. And basically, I watch a little horror music videos, scary videos, YouTube videos, stuff like that.
Gamer at all, anything like that? Because wrestling and video games usually go hand in hand. Marvel Comics or anything like that?
I've grown up playing PlayStation. Yeah, I'm a PlayStation guy. What of it?
I am too.
So,
I'm not hating on you. I'm not hating on you at all. When we talk sports, we're probably going to hate each other, though. I imagine we're not going to like each other in sports.
Don't disrespect my Colts, my Hoosiers. None of that, or there's going to be a problem.
The Colts I might have an issue with as a Steeler fan. The Hoosier, I'm a fan of Big Ten across the board, so I'll give you that. So we're 50-50. What's your let's decide this then. What's your baseball team?
Indiana Hoosiers.
No, that's basketball.
All the
baseball.
Indiana Pacers.
That's
Indiana Hoosiers baseball. Indiana Pacers basketball. And my favorite hockey team, I know I'm going to get crap for this, but my favorite hockey team, Toronto Maple Leafs. I know people may say, I've never heard of them. I've never been to a game. I would love to, but I'm a huge fan of the Toronto Maple Leafs, even though I've not learned any info, no research, and nothing like that. Toronto Maple Leafs.
Hey, I'm a fan of the Anaheim Ducks for one reason. Because of the movie The Mighty Ducks when we were kids. Listen.
Oh, my childhood.
Right? I don't know crap about them, but I have a jersey because I love the logo. That's it. I don't know crap about hockey, but yeah.
On Mighty Ducks, Fulton was my favorite.
Yeah. All right. This is our time to get some random questions in, and I'm going to send it off to our past guest, who's going to ask you a question.
Hello, this is the Queen City Killer, Clara Carter, and my question is, if there is anything you would change about women's wrestling specifically, what would it be?
Ooh, first of all, I would love for WWE to have Evolution 2, because Evolution 1 was a success, and I loved the Evolution event that WWE had, all wrestling pay-per-view, and I would love for one day a WrestleMania to be a female wrestling event.
Thank you.
All women's wrestlers have their own WrestleMania.
If you're going to make it 2 days now, and there's times that I'm like, yeah, 2 days of WrestleMania is great, and then there's times like, oh man, it's 2 days of WrestleMania. Give the ladies one night and give the men another night. Completely divide it and let's see who steals the freaking weekend. Right?
Yes. But I would love for one day to have the knockouts of TNA and the women's wrestler WWE have a crossover event. That's what I would love to have.
I'm going to throw in AEW's in too, because there's a few in there that I really would love to see cook against some other ones as well. Just a mega show, right?
Yes, I would love to see Jordan Grace versus Rhea Bloody Ripley.
Yeah. All right, you ready for the silly questions? The randomizer gave you 4 this week, and we'll get into them. If there was a sandwich named after you, what would be on the sandwich?
It'd be like a Subway 5 foot long, and it would have pepperoni, a little bit of pizza sauce, a little bit of enchilada sauce, and a little bit of meat, ground beef, and a little bit of Mexican cheese, a little bit of blend, a little bit of mozzarella as well, and top it all off with a Doritos Cool Ranch or Doritos normal flavor like sauce. Put it on there.
I have a name stuck in my head for it, but what are you going to name it?
Bite of the Wolf.
All right. See, we at least kept it in the same path. I was going to say hungry like a wolf. Maybe Duran Duran can help sponsor that too.
That too.
Yes.
But you might have to talk to Duran Duran about it too, because copyright and all that.
Right. Maybe we can spell hungry different, and then they would not have any idea.
Hunger of the Wolf.
Hunger of the Wolf. Yes. Yes, we got this.
Hunger of the Wolf.
Yes. If you could be guaranteed anything in life besides, money, what would you want it to be?
Guaranteed just to have a happy life on Earth. Be blessed with what you got, even if people say, "Oh, I love to be rich and have millions and millions of dollars." No. One thing I don't like is people being rich and famous, because we all know even rich people have problems too. So I would just like to be rich with food in my belly, clothes on my back, roof over my head, and basically whatever God gives me. I'm just blessed with what I got right now. So,
amen. My grandfather. This is, if I can remember anything through concussions and anything else that I've had throughout my life, I remember this. My grandfather said to me, "You will want to be a poor healthy man than a rich sick man, because you'll still have everything you need as that poor healthy man." And that is stuck in my head forever. And it's right. I am the richest man in the world because of my family, my friends, this podcast, speaking to wrestlers like you. You look at my bank account, I'm broke as hell, but I have everything I need and I love it. I don't know if I need trillions and millions of dollars, because then you get corrupt and it's not fun, right?
Right.
What is your... Go ahead, sorry.
But you could be the richest, most famous guy in the world, and sooner or later, shit will hit the fan.
That's right. You're right. Shit will hit the fan, or you could be a giant dick. So I don't want to be any of those.
Me neither.
Good. What's your guilty pleasure? What is something, because the past couple guests have told me some crazy things. One of my guests eats cheese every day, and it's just crazy. What's your guilty pleasure?
Enchiladas.
Really? You love them that much?
Enchiladas. Tortilla, beef, enchilada sauce, Mexican shredded cheese all about. Enchiladas.
Where's your go-to place to get your enchiladas then?
Kroger. Yeah, that's all it is, Kroger. But I get the essential type of tortillas, mission tortillas, because I love them.
So you mean you're making them, which I get it now, that you could have just said I made them, but you throw out Kroger, and I think you're like going to the deli section and pulling them out of the little boat that they have there or something.
Oh my God.
You could have said like Moe's, or I would have probably laughed at you if you would have said Taco Bell, because that's just diarrhea wrapped up in a tortilla shell. That's not a tortilla shell.
Yeah.
You could have given me some other random place that I don't know about in Indiana, but you give me Kroger's and I just lose it.
I am so sorry.
No,
if I can make anybody laugh, it's a good day.
It's a fabulous day. I wasn't expecting that. I really thought you were going to tell me this mom and pop place in Indiana, and I'm like, cool. I'll have to drive out and try it. I'm not going to Kroger. I'm sorry. Nothing against them. I'm not going to Kroger's. Great.
But, yeah, enchiladas is my guilty pleasure, yeah.
Okay. If you could ask one person and they truthfully had to answer whatever you asked them, who are you asking and what are you asking?
My question is to anyone who has a disability, like mine, like Asperger's, autism, anything. If you had an opportunity to find whatever you wanted to do, anything, would you let it stop you, and what would it be?
I like that. I really do, because that's a question that not only people with Asperger's, that's a question that should be answered or asked to anyone, essentially, right? Why are you letting today's day that was full of shit put you down for the next 5 or 6 days? I know it might be a 10-pound bag of shit that's on you. You can lift it up and you can change, and everything will be okay. It's okay to not have an okay day, but get out of it. And you're living a life like that, Dustin, and I truly commend you, because from the Kroger hilariousness that we have to the beginning of the podcast and what more to come, man, you're unbelievable. You really are. So I commend you for being awesome and is keeping, the smile and kicking ass and taking names and getting into professional wrestling.
Thank you. Also, you're from. I won the Swag Wrestling Hardcore Championship back in February, and it was the most greatest moment of my life because it was like my first championship belt win, my singles championship win, my first, and first of many in the near future.
Right? Yeah. You stole one of my questions already, but that's okay. You can steal them away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's your greatest accomplishment so far? But the Swag, your first ever title, huh?
Yes, Swag Wrestling. It's on Facebook. It's a Facebook page, and I won the Hardcore Championship back in February. One of the greatest moments of my life.
So that's the greatest moment, winning that title. And let's see if I can change this. What was your best match that you felt that you've had your best match? Was it that one, or was it another one that you worked with somebody?
I believe back of last year, it was at Nonstop Wrestling Alliance in Paris, Tennessee, and this was after Bray Wyatt. It upsets me right now to think about this. It was right after Bray Wyatt passed away. I was at the gym when I found out about it. Somebody in the group chat that I was in said that Bray Wyatt passed away, and I looked it up, and, well, my gym session was pretty much ruined.
Yeah.
And it was emotional. And you saw the Bray Wyatt documentary, right?
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Dude, it was a tearjerker. I broke out in tears. And I was at the gym, and I was going to do more workouts, but I'm like, screw it. I'm going to go home.
Yeah.
And I went to Nonstop Wrestling Alliance, and it was my match with Chris Chambers. And I dedicated that match to Bray Wyatt. And after the match, I did his signature pose that he does after his matches.
Yeah.
And I yelled, "Follow the buzzards," and everybody was cheering for Bray Wyatt. It was a very emotional match for me, but that's probably one of my favorite matches. But the circumstances before it was really, really sad and depressing. But I know when I hit that Sister Abigail, I made Bray Wyatt proud.
You just gave me the chills telling that story, by the way. Like, it just... I have a sleeve of my favorite tattoo logos of independent stars and, the Iron Sheik and yada yada yada, The Rock. I have a ton of logos on my arm of tattoos. And I normally have each one scheduled, hey, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. When I walked in, essentially like 2 days after Bray passed, I had another scheduled, and she's like, hey, we're going to do Razor Ramon today, this, that, and the other. I said, no. I said, you're not. I said, the only thing I want you to put on me today, I said, right next to the clock that I have for my grandfather, because he's the one that got me into professional wrestling, I said, I want you to put "Let Me In." And I said, that's it. I said, I'll pay you for the session, and I said, that's all I can do, and that's all I really want today. She's like, all right, let's go. So she put "Let Me In." So yeah, I did that for Bray. So he's on my sleeve. Okay.
Yeah, if I had a Bray Wyatt tattoo, it'd be his lantern.
See, I thought about that, and I thought his Fiend mask, and I wanted to because I knew a lot of people were going to. And I'm like, all right, let me just keep it simple, stupid, Mark, and just do what is in my mind right now. Let me in. And I'm like, yeah, I do love the lantern idea, though. I really do. He may get another one on, because Owen's on here twice with the hearts, his Heart Foundation, and then I have the Blue Blazer insignia as well. So Bray is probably going to be on here twice as well. All right.
Funny you mentioned Owen Hart, because he was one of my favorite wrestlers too. My favorite Canadian wrestler growing up, because he was just so good. And then when he passed away, it was really sad.
I think we would be talking more about Owen. And get ready, you might slap me through this. I'm a big Bret Hart fan too, remember that. But I think we'd be talking more about Owen than we would Bret if Owen was here more.
Yeah, I believe if Owen Hart was alive today and he would do a seminar in Nashville, I'm on my way there. Yeah. I would love to do a seminar with Owen Hart if he was still alive.
I'd pay just to sit there. Not even be in the ring and just listen. Yep, I agree. So
yeah.
you have a lot of notable people in your back pocket. We named your trainers. We've named some people that you worked out with. Who's giving you the best advice for pro wrestling?
Jeremiah Plunkett, Tom Latimer right now, because I talk to them and I send them my matches and I send them, my match to critique and all that. That's who I go to. And sometimes I go to the promoters as well.
Okay. Does anything come out right off the bat like, hey, be you, continue to push your... Is there one thing that you remember that one of them have said to you?
Sometimes there's a word that Crimson always talked about, repetition. And sometimes when you mess up a move, it's okay. You just go back and keep doing it until you get better. But sometimes Jeremiah Plunkett said it best at a meetup before a Trident Pro event. He says he preaches safety, and that's what I take to heart, because in a wrestling match, you got to trust your opponent, okay? That's the number one rule.
Yep. It's your family. It's your family in the ring.
Yes, and if you are a wrestler who doesn't trust your opponent, or if you have a wrestler you're supposed to trust in that ring, supposed to take care of each other, and if not, there's going to be problems.
Yeah, agreed. Backstage, in the ring, everywhere, there's going to be problems. I agree.
Because your life is in their hands.
Yeah.
Because one wrong move, and everything goes cattywampus, so to speak.
Quick, in the snap of a finger, it can go cattywampus.
Yeah.
I forgot to ask this when we were talking about training and growing up and everything and making the transition to professional wrestling from the Special Olympics. When you tell your family, hey, I'm doing this, what do they say? What's everybody say? They're like, you're crazy, go ahead, this and that. I need to hear this story from family members.
Oh, my mom was against it at first.
Of course.
My mom was against it. Like, she didn't want me to do it, but I was hell bent on doing this because I didn't want to stay home for the rest of my life and do nothing to think what could have been or what might have been. So I'm glad I took the route to pro wrestling.
No.
And I used to go to wrestling events with a lot of friends, and now I go by myself. And sometimes when you go to wrestling events on your own, you basically become a lone wolf.
Yeah. You kind of slid that right into who you are, right?
Yeah.
Now mom is biggest fan, and she's helping you make merch and all of that stuff?
I have yet to have any merch done, but hopefully one day. I just got to figure out who to get in contact with and all that.
Okay. All right, so Clara kind of stole some of my question, my favorite question that I get to ask to everybody. What would you change? Because wrestling's got stigmas around it, or there's some dirt ball still in it, this, that, and the other. What would you change in professional wrestling if you had a magic wand and just could get rid of it?
The drama, and sometimes the wrestling promotions. There's drama and all that. I believe Ashley mentioned this. And I just don't like drama in pro wrestling, especially indie pro wrestling. I want all the indie pro wrestling companies to get along and maybe one day have a super crossover event one day. And like Trident 2 Pro does with NWA, like to do with TNA. I want that to happen. And hopefully one day it'll happen, but who knows when that'll happen? Maybe one day.
NWA recently is bringing back the territories, and I'm huge about that. I really am. I think I think Billy Corgan has one hell of a plan going on.
Yeah, hopefully one day I'll wrestle in the NWA.
Yeah. Whether
it's in one of his territories or just in NWA in general.
Yeah.
Hell, it could be against my coach Tom Latimer one day. Who knows? Maybe against Big Strong Mims.
Yeah.
Hell, even against EC3.
There you go. There you go. You're calling out Latimer for a national championship match right now, aren't you?
Or maybe just an exhibition one day. You never know. Maybe a dark match. But I have a list of dream matches.
Oh, we'll get to those. We're trucking next to that. How much wrestling do you watch now? Do you watch the bigger promotions? Do you watch a lot of IWTV title match with all the indies? How much do you watch?
I watch wrestling matches on YouTube, TNA Plus. I also watch the matches from New Japan Pro Wrestling and WWE, AEW, TNA. NWA. Mostly I just watch a whole lot of New Japan Pro Wrestling, especially with Jon Moxley. And especially I watch this marathon with Jon Moxley as United States champion in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I'll watch that sometimes. And I watch some old school TNA, new TNA, Impact, a whole lot of indies. I also watch a little bit of Madman Pondo and Nick Gage.
Yeah. GCW right now. Yes.
ECW, yeah.
How far back in tape study, working with your trainers and doing stuff, how far back in tape study? You're not watching it for the enjoyment, you're watching it to learn. How far back will you go?
Normally they show old school wrestling like WWE in the 90s, 80s, NWA, Japan, stuff like that, British wrestling. Somewhere along there.
Is there somebody that you're, I don't mean stuck is a bad word. Is there somebody that you're stuck watching right now because you're just engulfed in anything that him or she does?
I watch Jon Moxley. I watch Rhea Ripley. And I watch Pentagon Jr. or Penta El Cero Miedo, as he's known in AEW. I watch Undertaker, Stone Cold. I watch Jordan Grace. I watch. I'll admit, I'll confess, I watch Bashley's matches.
Oh, now we brought up Bashley enough that I'll definitely have to tag her in this and make sure I give her a special call out in it. So yeah, I guess Bashley's pretty good, right?
Yeah, shout out to my bestie, one of my besties, Bashley Bones.
What's your favorite storyline of all time? Is it Undertaker Kane?
Yes, and also the Brood storylines, Undertaker versus Kane, The Shield, and I'm actually loving the Bloodline storyline right now.
Yeah,
and with Solo Sikoa and. They just brought in the Gorillas of Destiny to be in the storyline. And I'm loving the Bloodline storyline. Even with Roman Reigns, Uso, Solo. I love it.
I think the Bloodline is one of the best storylines out there because there's so much meat on these bones right now to continue with so much for years to come. I love the Bloodline. Agreed. Agreed.
I know they're going to start bringing in Jacob Fatu soon.
I hope
and a little
so.
story about Jacob Fatu actually helped him do autographs, photo ops, stuff like that at StarCast when it was in Nashville 2022. So that was my first taste of meeting somebody from the Bloodline, and I'm wishing him all the best in WWE. I also watch his matches as well on YouTube.
Yeah. Jacob's. Listen, I love Roman Reigns, but I think Jacob Fatu may be my favorite member of the Bloodline. I think he's gonna do big things when he gets to WWE. We'll just throw it out there.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that they have a Bloodline versus Bloodline War Games match.
Yes, that's where I'm thinking it's going this year. I really do, and it's gonna tear down the freaking house.
I'm hoping that it's Roman Reigns, Usos, and The Rock versus Jacob Fatu, the Gorillas of Destiny, or Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa against Solo Sikoa. And here's the thing, Paul Heyman is in the middle of all this.
Winner gets Paul Heyman. Yeah. Yep, winner gets Paul Heyman. Or he's the reason why Roman in the original Bloodline, I guess, with The Rock, win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see. Bloodline versus Bloodline War Games. It'll be lit, as the kids say.
As the kids say, yeah. Now you're turning into a kid, yeah. All right. This is where I think you have stories for me, right? This is do we have an embarrassing story or two that you have for me?
Oh, boy. I can't really think of any, but during training, I was doing like a sunset flip type deal with one of my teammates, and I was doing a sunset flip with Devin Graves, and I jump down, and he's supposed to go over me, do the sunset flip thing, and I'm like, what the hell? And I look back, and he's laying down, and I'm like, I just fall down flat. I'm like,
what are you doing, man? You're supposed to flip over me.
I'm sorry, Devin.
Nice.
Your brother to me. I'm sorry. If you hear this, I apologize to you. Okay, but he was supposed to do a sunset flip, and I'm ducking down. He goes over. I'm like, where is he? Where is he? I'm like, I turn around. He's laying down on the ground, and I'm laughing. I fall. I'm like Sal Volcano on a practical joker, so I fall down laughing.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I'm like, oh, this is awkward.
Yeah, now what do we do? You can't do anything from down there. What's your goals for 2024?
Have as much wrestling matches as I possibly can, win championship gold, and hopefully do a wrestling match for NWA or TNA. And that's my goals right there.
Any states that you want to knock off or anything?
One day Michigan.
Yeah.
Because I have a sister that lives up there.
Okay.
And Michigan, Texas, I don't know what the rules are down there, but I wrestled in Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana. I would love to wrestle in Michigan, Texas, and Florida. Because I know that up there is where the Performance Center is.
Yep, that's a PC.
For WWE.
Yep, get eyes on you. Get eyes on you. All right. Favorite question. Dream match. Who, where, and what stipulation?
Me versus Jon Moxley. Tried it to pro in a Extreme Rules match.
Okay.
Or, second one, me, Chris Jericho, tried it to pro, and I have an alter ego called Hardcore Dusty. He has the Painmaker. We can have like a no disqualification match.
Okay. Another one? You have it because you said you have a trillion of them.
One last one.
Okay, one last one.
Me versus me as Hardcore Dusty against the Demon Finn Balor.
I'd love to see that. I'd love to see all of them, but I really would love to see you and Finn rip it up. I'm going to put the stipulation in for that one. That's a last man standing match.
Ooh, that's a tricky match.
Yeah.
And last one, I promise, last one. Me versus Bashley Bones.
Oh, you're calling her out. Yes.
A friendly competition, as they say.
Okay, friendly competition. Would you...
You know, look, sir, I don't discriminate. I'll face male and female in the wrestling ring. Battle of the sexes, I don't care. I'm all for it.
Okay. We're going to talk this into fruition right off the bat then. I need video confirmation of this match. I'm calling out Bashley to accept this match, Bashley. So you still have my number. Make sure we can get this rocking and rolling somewhere. But yeah, would you do a death match? With all the craziness that they have.
I've seen them on TV. I know Matt Cardona does them. I know Lance Archer of AEW does the Texas Death Match. My honest opinion, I would love to do it if the money and the timing is right. But I would love to do a Texas Death Match with either Jon Moxley or James Storm or Chris Jericho, maybe Evil from New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Okay.
And I don't know, Jay White.
All right.
Bang Bang Gang.
I like the Moxley one. I think there'd be a lot of bloodshed with Moxley. A lot of bloodshed with Moxley. So okay.
I can't believe I'm being this open with you, dude.
No, I love it. I hope you're having fun. I have two more questions. This is your time, actually. Before the last question, this is your time to tell everybody your socials, where you're going to be wrestling at. You said you don't have merch yet, but you have plans for it. But yeah, tell everybody your socials and where you're going to be wrestling in the near future.
This Saturday, as of this recording, I'm going to be at Swag Wrestling in a heaven or hell match. It's kind of like a very extreme hardcore match against Honcho Hensley. And as of this recording, he has my hardcore championship, and I'm going to try to get it back this Saturday.
Okay. Anything next weekend or a couple weeks down the line?
June 8th, I go back to Swag Wrestling. Okay. It's in Huntington, Tennessee. And
more to come on that. We don't want to spoil anything. More to come on that. You are good on your socials. You post a hell of a lot of stuff, so make sure you give your socials out.
On my Instagram, it's lone_wolf_indie. And Facebook, I have Dustin Wolf.
It's that easy.
I'm friends with the dude I'm doing podcasts with, so you can find me on there.
Yeah. We tag them as well, so don't forget, everything that we put up, we tag our guests on as well.
Also, one last thing.
Yeah, no, I have one more question.
In regards to Bashley, she's done a lot for my career. She's brought me to bookings. She's brought me to indies. She's taught me all the ins and outs of bookings. I know I bring her up a lot in this podcast, and I do apologize, okay? But she's done a lot for my career, and I owe her a lot, okay? She's introduced me to bookings. She's introduced me to podcast people like you. She's done a lot for my career, and I owe her a lot. So thank you, Bashley.
Yeah,
thank you.
No need to apologize. This is your spotlight. This is about you, your career, and everything. And if Bashley is that influential, and I mean it in a good way, definitely give her a shout out. She's an amazing woman for herself and what she does. And now to know that she is, I don't want to say taking you under the wing or anything like that, but just helped push you along and give you everything that you have gotten. Thank you, Bashley, because the research that I've done and having, Dustin on the podcast has been amazing. So, yeah, shout out to her. Love her, without a doubt. Another reason to go follow Bashley, people. All right, this question right here. And I apologize, but you've completely been truthful 100% and everything. This one might hit. How has wrestling changed your life? Like, how has it just given you that new feel? Because I know it has. I hear it in your heart. I hear it in your voice. How has it done all that?
First of all, it has inspired me to inspire others to fulfill their lifelong dream of becoming a pro wrestling. And I know that if I could inspire a whole lot of people, and if I could do this with the disability that I have, so can so many more. So can many more before me. And if I could pave the way, blaze the trail for them, then I believe that you could do anything once you set your mind to it. If you have autism, same disability that I have, you can do this stuff too. I'm not saying you can't. If you want to become, like, I don't know, example, an astronaut, do it. If you're autistic, you want to be a race car driver, do it. If you're autistic, you want to be a mayor, do it. I'm not stopping anyone from fulfilling their dreams. I'm just saying I'm inspiring you to do it, to follow your dreams, to do whatever you want, no matter what disability you have.
You have lived your life with a disability, but without it. Do you know what I mean by that? But, like, yes, you have a disability, but you live your life like, hey, this is my normal life. I continue to do what I want to because you said it. You just don't want to sit at home and clean the floor and be a couch potato. You're living your best life, and I thank you for that because it means more to people than you probably know. It really does because it's uplifting for me. So if I'm having a bad day, I'm like, Dustin's not going to be doing this. Dustin's not going to be sulking on the couch. He's going to be out doing wrestling. He's going to be out doing this, and he's going to be out doing that. Stop being a jackass, Mark, and go do it. So thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. Because I learn something every day. As a 47-year-old, I try to learn something every day. And this year, we have been like the power of positivity on this podcast. And each week, every guest has brought something. And you fucking brought it. I apologize because I have not been a trucker on yours, but you're getting my real, like, you brought it. And I thank you 100%.
Hell yeah.
Hey, this is Bashley Bones, and I just want to say, Can Crushers rocks. You better check them out.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Indiana Werewolf, Dustin Wolf, and I want to tell you right now, just so you know, because I waited to edit this a little bit longer than normal, the two-time hardcore champion, Dustin Wolf, as he regained his title last weekend. Congratulations, Dustin. One hell of a job. But let's get back to the interview. Man, this is super inspirational. You heard me in the podcast just talk about what he's done, for me in the podcast. Transitioning from kicking ass in Special Olympics and all the sports that he's named to say, hey, I just don't want to be sitting around. I want to do something. I love professional wrestling. And look what he is now, a two-time hardcore champion. 7 years in the business, continuing to kick ass and take names. And how about that, huh? How about this guy, Stone Cold, the Sandman, and Plunkett? Clearly we kind of had that figured out. But fucking enchiladas. Let's go back to that. Let's go back to enchiladas. I about died from Kroger, by the way. Not handmade, none of this, none of that. Blew my mind with that. Dustin Wolf's a great human being. Through fourth wall down, as we do every once in a while. Fourth wall down because, man, I love talking to him. I can't wait to get out to one of his shows. I can't wait to, Dustin, if you're listening right now, I'm a hugger. So, I give you a big hug saying thanks for coming on the show. Thanks for picking me up and knowing that, everything you do, I support, and you are a wonderful human being. Keep chasing the dream, keep kicking ass, and just run with it, buddy. Thank you so much for being on Can Crushers. I'm sure Can Crusher Nation is going to give you a big follow and say, man, this is somebody that has changed lives across the world. I'll say it right now, across the world. I love this interview. If you guys ever make me pick one, like during the Crushies for Crushie of the Year, I'm telling you, this is going to be one of them up there. But we'll talk about it in December when myself and Sir Michael Jenks have the Crushie Awards. Guys, remember, just because you're trash, it doesn't mean you can't do great things. It's called a garbage can, not a garbage cannot. Make sure you tell your loved ones you love them, because you never know.